probably a student like me. You've either just graduated or you finished your placement year and saved a decent amount of money, and you're wondering as to where I can spend this money. Like, should I buy those designer pair of shoes or do I do something else with it? But guys, trust me, I have two words for you: delayed gratification. And oh my god, you guys, the power of these two words is insane, because you can actually see your money grow, and that is all we really want. We want to be financially free. So I thought that I could probably post a video about how to grow your wealth as a beginner or as a recent graduate, and here we go. Hey you guys, I'm Shruti and welcome to my channel Shrispia. I am super overwhelmed by your response from last week. I wasn't expecting like 1,000 views in one day. It's insane. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, because I'll be posting videos every Wednesday about investment, personal finance, my journey to financial freedom, and student tips. And if you haven't seen my video from last week, you can find it linked up here, so please go have a look and hopefully you enjoy this video. Alright you guys, so the first place you can invest your finances in is yourself, technically speaking. And no, I don't mean those designer shoes you've been wanting to buy for like God knows how long, or maybe even a new car, because you guys, a new car, as soon as you take it out of the showroom, its value depreciates. So if you even want to resell it, you can't sell it at a profit. So don't focus on buying a new car with your first salary or, you know, your savings. Instead, focus on building your wealth, so this wealth can generate more wealth for you and get you a car, which is what feels super good. And in this case, your mind is your wealth, and knowledge in this day and age is free. As you got Google, and you got some online courses, you got YouTube, where you can literally search for anything and find a video or two about it, and that's gonna help you out. So buy those books that have been on your list, invest in buying some online courses, take those courses, get those certificates, put it on your CV, build your range of skills, and that essentially will build your wealth in the future. This point might be slightly debatable, because some say that, you know, student loans usually have low interest rates and whatnot, but if you ask me, I suggest that you focus on clearing all your debts first. Your first goal should be to become debt free, especially the ones who have graduated with student loans. I agree, a lot of us have no other choice but to take out student loans for a quality education. I suggest that we focus on clearing our debts first. Especially if you're a student who has a credit card, please cancel your credit cards, because you don't want that kind of stress in your life. Maybe focus on using your credit card to just pay for essentials, so that way you build a good credit score. But otherwise, in my opinion, I don't see a point in having a credit card, because you're just tempted to use it and buy stuff. Once you can't afford to pay it back, interest rates will add on to that. So you guys, cancel your credit cards, because, you know, if you don't have something, you can't use it. Okay, so now that you're debt free, or maybe you're still in the process of clearing your debts, it's good to be also setting an emergency fund up at the same time. You can go about setting your emergency fund in a few ways, and let me help you out with those. So one of these ways is to automate transfers to another savings account as soon as your salary comes into your bank, so that way you're not tempted to touch what's in the other account. If you don't want this money to be sitting in a bank account, I suggest that you invest in investments that come along with a low risk, like fixed deposits or buy bonds and stuff like that. But the only downside to these is that they aren't liquid. Now that you're done paying your loans and setting aside an emergency fund, the next thing you should do is start investing, you guys. Now this is where the fun begins. This is an underrated way to build your wealth, but flipping goods really helps sometimes. So you might be wondering, what on earth does flipping goods mean? So you basically buy something that's probably limited edition or in less supply but super high demand, and sell it at a higher price. Like for example, you can go to like a thrift store and buy clothes for like super cheap and then sell it online for a profit. The only downside though is that you need to spend some time looking for the right product to flip. So this isn't necessarily a form of investment in the conventional way, but it will save you a lot of money. And you guys, you should get a health insurance. This doesn't apply to people from the UK because obviously you guys have NHS and that's amazing. It's like a lifesaver, an angel, a total blessing. But I'm talking about countries like India where a lot of people don't usually get their health insurance. In case of unforeseen events, you meet up with an accident or you fall sick and maybe get admitted to the hospital for a while and you can't afford to pay all those bills later, you're better off paying a small premium every year, which might be slightly expensive, but it's so much more worth it than getting into another debt. So the next best thing you can possibly invest in are mutual funds, ETFs and index funds. So basically I'll be posting a video about these in detail in the coming weeks. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and the bell icon to stay notified when these videos come out. Also, if you like this video, please drop a like. So coming back to the video, mutual funds, index funds and ETFs are super convenient because you have to just make one purchase and you get a package filled with stocks from different companies in the country you're buying your mutual funds in. And not only just that, but also you don't have to sit in front of a computer every day and watch these stocks because the fund people will take care of all of that for you. But you have to stay consistent with your investments to mutual funds. Make sure you set aside a proportion of your income for mutual funds and reinvest your returns, and that way is going to grow over the years and ultimately grow your wealth. So that's a really good way to start investing, especially if you're a beginner. Okay you guys, so here's your final tip as to what you can do with your paycheck. So you can invest in long-term dividend paying stocks, and I'm not a stock picker myself, I'm still learning. What I'd suggest is you start purchasing stocks from brands you trust, know and use. For example, instead of buying a McDonald's hamburger, you can invest in some McDonald's stocks. Obviously the prices and the correlations are totally different. You know and trust McDonald's, and you know that McDonald's is going to stay there as a franchise for a long time. If you're a recent graduate who's just starting off with your career, it's a really good idea to invest in buying some long-term dividend paying stocks because over the years it's going to accumulate, especially if you reinvest. And with each month you can just set aside a proportion of your income, buy more dividend paying stocks, and by the time you retire you're going to see how much your wealth will grow. And that is quite amazing because you're literally going to be sitting there and your wealth is going to grow in your sleep. It's going to be a stream of passive income, and that is what you're aiming for, to become financially free. So that's, I think, 7 tips as to how you can start investing as a beginner and focus on growing your wealth, especially if you've just graduated. I really hope this video was useful for you guys. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends if you think this might be useful to them as well. And I'll see you next week.